What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Purple People Podcast. This is episode 613. The JJ McCarthy era has begun, and I need to make a formal statement for this show. I'm firing myself because I was the worst Vikings fan of all time last night. The
You were
shit.
crashing out hard.
This is the worst crash out this team has ever made me have. And I'm not going to lie to you guys. I was dead serious last night. I was about this close to saying, you know what? It's been a good run. I'm just going to watch people fight each other for the rest of my life. That'll make me happy. Because for 3/4 of a game, this team looked so fucking bad to me. And I asked the guys in the chat, I'm not going to, listen, I'm going to put the disclaimer out here now. I need the shame, the horrible shame of being a terrible fan. I need it because I was bad last night. But I still beg the question, and I promise I have good things to say about this game. How in the world do you have all the offseason and 3 preseason games and you look that bad coming out for 3/4? We're going to get to the good stuff because I'm shocked they won this game. I don't think I've ever been this mad about a win. But my first question to you guys is, can we please all agree they have to play more in the preseason? This is too. I don't care that there's an extra game now. I think that they are risking too much because if you drop a game at any point in the season, that's not good. You're risking a loss just because you want to hopefully conserve injuries for whatever. And I'm not saying they all have to play every minute of every preseason game, but that was horrible for 45 minutes out of 60 on the field last night, and I was so mad because they are so much better than that. They're so much better.
But in the four major sports in the U.S., football, every game means more than any other sports. I mean, you drop a game in baseball or basketball or hockey,
Yep.
it's not too big of a deal. You drop one in the NFL, that's big.
You drop 2 to go to 0-2 in the season for this league, your chances of getting in the playoffs significantly drop. And I understand, like, all due credit to the Bears. I don't have much of anything honestly bad to say about Caleb Williams or Ben Johnson.
He came out pretty good.
Honestly, I think it's just the first game of anything can happen in the NFL on any Sunday, but the very first game of every season is going to be weird. I mean, look at a little over 24 hours or 48 hours ago with the game in Buffalo. Anything can happen in a short amount of time.
Well, week 1 was so weird. I mean, right now, I don't know if Detroit is actually bad or if Green Bay was just that good, and I don't know if the Miami Dolphins are even a pro football team right now.
It takes about a month for all of the dust to settle in the NFL for you to really get a handle on who are the good teams and who are the bad teams in the league right now. Like, it's really difficult for me after 1 week to make a definitive statement other than the obvious ones like, hey, we know the Ravens, we know the Bills, like we know those
Right.
teams are elite for a reason. But other than that, it's really difficult for me to make kind of blanket statements about any team, including the Minnesota Vikings. And I think before we break the game down, I kind of want to share my opinion like what Smith did. I think that was 3/4 of the worst football I have ever seen from the Minnesota Vikings. And I mean, this is including like Josh Freeman era football games. This is including
Now, just to clarify, you guys are both really just talking offensively, right?
offensively, yes.
Well, yeah, I want to talk about the defense too, but yes, offensively, they were anemic.
The defense started out flat, and then I think came on. They came on earlier than what the offense did, but I mean, just those first 3/4 were rough for the team. That to me, even though they were only down 11 points.
Yeah. It felt like a lot more.
You remember that playoff game where we got blown out by, was it the Giants? What was it like?
Yeah, what was it, 44-0 game?
41-0 potentially out there. Like, that is what that game felt like. I will give JJ McCarthy, Kevin O'Connell, I don't know who, They stayed in that game, and they fought, and they found a way to come back, and that counts for something, guys.
I feel like even the most Vikings baseball fans out there were tested on this one, because you had to sit through some real frustration to get to the Magic. And
Oh, yeah.
it was worth it to sit through, but boy, it was tough to watch.
It's tough because if you were a fan, and I'm not poo-pooing on these particular teams just because I'm bored and I want to be mean, but like Bryce Young looked particularly bad. The Titans we thought weren't going to be great. Cleveland does Cleveland things. They somehow manage to stay in the game only to lose by a point. I can understand the talent that this team has, the coordinator that they have defensively, the head coach. They have a lot of the pieces that a lot of other teams and fan bases would love to have. So to see them be so anemic, dude, I'm going to tell you some of the things I said last night, and it was bad. I was like, hey, if Justin Jefferson asks for a trade on Tuesday, I'm fine with it because
Oh my God,
we're wasting
Smith.
his prime.
That first half, I wouldn't have blamed him.
It was pissing me off because I'm thinking we're wasting literally the prime years, because you don't realize now when you look at it, Justin Jefferson's been in the league. This is number 5 or 6 for him. He's in his prime right now, and I'm thinking, what are we doing here? But what I do like to try to slowly pivot to the positive is winning solves just about everything.
Yeah.
And we've been on the other end of being the team that's winning up by this, and we've had this game happen to us as the Bears happened to them, where we're like, how did we lose this game? We played better than them. We had better time of possession. We didn't do this. But ultimately what it came down to was Brian Flores, and I will take all the credit because I called it about halfway through the first quarter. I said, what in the F are you doing? You're not sending more than 4 guys, sometimes 3 guys. This is not who you are. Stop it. Stop doing that and do what you do that got you to the dance. And when he started sending real pressure to Caleb Williams, he folded like a freaking paper chair.
Yeah.
And that's what happens to most of these guys. And I'm not making fun of Caleb Williams personally. I'm saying this
I actually
happens to a
thought
lot.
Caleb Williams, can we give him a little bit of credit, man? I thought
What?
Caleb Williams looked really good. I thought they had a pretty good game plan.
His deep
That
ball
kid,
was still ugly.
he is super athletic though. Like when he
Yeah.
gets out in the open and makes plays with his legs, like I can see why he was a number 1 overall pick. They've just got to figure something out for him. I don't know what.
The criticism for the nail still gets me because I know that he does that to honor his late mom,
I
and I think that's
care.
pretty cool. But during this game, he had the suicide prevention numbers tattooed on his fingernails, which I thought
There
was
you go.
pretty cool.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's cool. I didn't know he did that for his mother either. That certainly would change, hopefully, some people's opinion on it. But I'm with you, Kyle. I didn't think he played bad at all. I think in the heat of the moment, when you get that pressure dialed up on you, because what we're not talking about was the stat sheet only gives you 2 sacks. I'd like to see how many hurries and pressures there were, because good God, there was 4 or 5 different plays where Ginkle...
He was escaping the pocket so well early.
Oh, early on, yeah, for sure. Van Ginkle...
Yeah, he was.
And Allen and a couple of those guys were so close to tackling him, and he had to make plays with his legs. I think it's kind of the fair, middle-of-the-road opinion most of the time, where if he doesn't try to do the home run and he just takes what is given, probably they could escape with a win. But there was a lot of things last night. Chicago had like 12 penalties.
Well, also, didn't JJ McCarthy have like 1 completion in the first quarter?
It was bad. It was so bad.
There was a point where we had more return yardage than JJ McCarthy had throwing passes.
Jeez.
Yeah.
That
That
was not good.
And familiar. Andrew says, anyone impressed with Wilson? Eric Wilson is back. I'm assuming you're talking about the linebacker. Yeah,
Yeah, Blake Cashman left that game with an injury, and Eric Wilson had to come in, and Wilson ended up tying for the most tackles in the game. And although I don't see credit on the stat sheet, he got his hand on a punt that could have been a big momentum changer.
Well, let's talk about it. That's a good segue, Andrew. You kind of just led me into it while I filibuster and type some more. Let's get into our game balls and donkeys. We do this every year for every game that we cover. So I'll give you guys the floor. Let's hear it. Who had an outstanding performance in your eyes? And in the chat, give us your game balls and donkeys. We'll throw them up there.
Oh yeah, I love hearing from everyone in our chat on who they think was the best or the worst players. That's always a lot of fun. Well, I want to go ahead and get started with my game ball. Guys, I've said it in our chat for a while now between the 3 of us. Jordan Mason, this kid is something special. He is going to be running back 1 for the Minnesota Vikings here real soon, and I know that they still believe in Aaron Jones, and he'll still be productive, and it'll be a two-headed monster. But
And it seems like the
I
Vikings agree with you because he outtouched Aaron Jones in this game when it comes to runs. So they
he
like what they see there, and giving him those runs lets Aaron Jones be a little bit more fresh and be more of a
right.
contributor in the passing game. So that's exciting.
Mason is fast, he runs hard, and every time he touches the ball, positive yardage. Like, how did the 49ers let this kid go?
They have to. They don't have any room to keep anyone because
Fucking McCaffrey is on IR for the rest of his career, though. I mean, like, I don't understand.
McCaffrey's looking good this year so far.
Yeah,
But
but you know
how
he's gonna
long
get
will it last, you know?
right. You know he's gonna get banged up.
hopefully forever
Jordan,
because I drafted him.
buy your jersey for Jordan Mason. Like, this kid is going to be something special for the
Yeah, as soon
Vikings.
as they got him in that trade, they gave him an extension, and they wasted no time making sure he'd be in Minnesota a while.
Say whatever you will about our GM in the draft, but in free agency, he knows how to ball. He knows how to pick up talent.
Yeah, we've said that before, in the chat between us and on the shows. Like, drafting is still kind of a question mark, 50-50, but for the free agency tear that he's been on since he's been the GM of this team has been pretty amazing. I love that pick. Adam, who's your game ball going to?
It's great that JJ McCarthy got his welcome to the NFL moment in a game that the Vikings actually won. And he may have gotten some of those jitters out, and maybe he'll come out a little bit more ready against Atlanta. But for me, the defense were the stars of the game, and Javon Hargrave, man, he was blowing stuff up. He had 2 sacks. He played one heck of a football game.
I was going to use that for mine. That's a great pick, dude. I'm looking at the stat sheet, and I had it up here just a second ago. 5 tackles, 2 sacks, 2 tackles for a loss, and a quarterback hit. That's just from ESPN. That doesn't include hurries or pressures.
Or run stuffing, because that's what his primary job is.
Let's talk about that after we get done with this game ball and donkey segment. Once Brian Flores went back to what he does, oh my God, do you remember the last 2 years how anybody could pretty much run on the Minnesota defense? Yeah, they get after the quarterback, but it's like, if you have a decent running back, it'll probably cause some issues. Last night it was, and Kyle said this too, if you can go watch Pat McAfee today, they did like a 20-minute segment on the Vikings, which never happened.
Fantastic segment.
Bruce Arians said the funniest thing I've heard in months. He's like, after about the second quarter, Brian Flores was like, all right, stop that shit. We're going to stop the run. So hard because that's a Super Bowl winning coach. And he's like, no, I think Kevin O'Connell's the shit. And he's like, Brian Flores is fucking awesome too. And I'm like, if that guy's saying that with all of his experience, must be the real deal. But yeah, sorry, Adam, I didn't mean to jump in and steer your thunder on that.
Oh no, I just think that, we all talked about the collapsing in the first 3 quarters, but that defense was standing strong. I mean, they didn't give up that pick 6. They defensively they didn't give up a lot of points, but I get Brian Flores coming out and wanting to not give the same look he gave last year, try to do something a little bit different. But when he realized it wasn't working, the Vikings actually went in at halftime and they made adjustments, and that was important.
It's important you say that too because Ben Johnson has been Brian Flores' kryptonite. While
he had never beat a Ben Johnson offense.
I do think that Detroit is managed better. I'm not sure talent-wise. Like, I think right now, of course, Goff is a better quarterback than Caleb Williams. I don't think anybody would argue that. He's been to a Super Bowl. He's obviously shown up the last few years when that roster's changed. But there's something about that guy just having a scheme that works to kind of be the kryptonite of what you do. So I know that's probably why they showed a different look. But it wasn't working, and I would have abandoned ship after the first quarter. I would have been screaming like, no, this is bad. Like, we're doing terrible on offense, which is my thing. I need you to ramp it up so we can get some momentum.
I could not believe that the Vikings defense was holding the run well enough that the Bears kind of started to abandon it.
Yeah, that's true. But they have a decent battle. Like, I like DeAndre Swift. I forget who the other new running back is. Well, they only have DJ Moore and Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams did have 58 yards on the ground, which was infuriating. But some of that you can't really help when he's escaping and people aren't in their lanes. It is what it is. For me, since you took Javon Hargrave, which is a great one, I'm giving mine to Kevin O'Connell. I think this is truly to go in and have the faith Because I know there were some people online, like I was just doom scrolling about halftime. I was like, all right, let's see if anybody agrees. People were like, is Carson Wentz going to start this game? And I'm like, surely he's not going to start this game. Like, you can't do that to the kid. That's not going to happen. But to go
My nephew
in,
had asked me, do you think that Carson Wentz is going to come in this game? I said, no, they're going to live or die.
yeah, you
I'm
have
McCarthy
to.
this game.
You have to.
You have to, at least for the majority of the season. If he looked like that for about 8 games, maybe not. But, yeah, to go in, and he told everybody this. He said, hey, I went and told him, you are going to lead us to a victory. You're going to help us dig back in the game. Coaching 101 is finding that thing that's going to tell this particular player whatever gets them to play their best. And I love that this has been said all day long about the Vikings, with their post-game speech. JJ right after the game, the press conference from the coach, he said, be your best when it matters most. And there's something to be said for that. Yeah, it might motivate you. You might think it's corny or whatever, but I know for that kid, everything we've seen, that's the kind of thing he needs to hear. I think that impressive watching the returner and telling him, all right, we're going to burn. Like, I don't understand how in the hell
that's
they don't kick that out of the end zone.
We were all calling for Ty Chandler to probably be cut. And he comes out and does the smartest thing he can do.
And totally redeem yourself.
And you saw him. He was sitting there. He took a second. He was like,
Yeah.
do I take this knee? And everybody's waving him on. And you see the yellow gloves of his teammates on the sidelines waving him in. And it's like, okay, all right.
I almost wonder, did that moment hesitation help him get a longer return out of it? Do you think the Bears defense might have eased up just a little bit and then he takes it out?
Well, it's the time wasted as well. Like, I can't believe they didn't kick it out of the back of the end zone, because that dramatically would have changed the game. They would have had
I don't think Cairo Santos can right now.
Maybe not. I mean, he was close. He was. I mean, he took it out of the end zone. He figured he had 5 or 6 more yards, maybe. But my point being for saying that is, if you start at 2 minutes 2 seconds and they go for 5 seconds, it's going to stop no matter what. They should get a 2 minute. I'm sorry, no. That's what happened in the game. If they would have kicked it out of the end zone, it would have been 2:02, and then they would have had a free timeout because of the 2 minute warning. I don't understand.
But here's where I'm at with it. If Cairo Santos, if they know he can't kick it out of the end zone, or that he's got a high probability not to be able to, boot it out of bounds.
Yeah, that would have drastically changed it. Imagine if they had to start with 2:02, then you have the 2 minute runoff that is a timeout. They essentially would have gained another timeout there, and that could have drastically changed how much clock was run. Because I think when the Bears got the ball back, they had 15 seconds, something like that. That could have been to 30 or 40?
It could have been 40 something, yeah.
And that could have resulted in a field goal easily. So,
but it's crazy to look back on this game and think, okay, you could have given JJ McCarthy a game ball for, overcoming his mistakes and having that huge third quarter that, record breaking for a lot of reasons. You could have picked, Jordan Mason, which we did. You could have picked Aaron Jones for his work as a receiver. You could have picked a lot of these people, even the return man, Miles Price, had a fantastic game. Punter Ryan Wright. Will Reichert he tied for the longest field goal in Soldier Field history and the second longest field goal in Minnesota Vikings history. You could have picked him easy.
He was going to be my choice between him and Kevin O'Connell. Will the Thrill quietly having a 100% day and setting a record. Pretty cool.
I wanted to give an honorary game ball or mention here to Donovan Jackson. Like Adam and I were talking in the chat, when an offensive lineman does well, it's really hard to notice as a fan when you're watching live as the game goes on. What was the stats that you posted earlier, Adam? He had no pressures, no
pressures, no hurries, nothing.
I have another stat for both of you and for all the listeners. The top 3 offensive players graded from Pro Football Focus. Would you like to know who they are?
Of course.
Brian O'Neill, Ryan Kelly, and Donovan Jackson.
Hell yeah, baby.
That makes my heart so happy.
Donovan
that's
Jackson,
funny going into this, because I was going to discuss the offensive line during our donkeys.
All right, let's hear it.
Go for it.
Because my donkey, and I don't know if this is going to be all of us or not, but
Ed O'Neill.
Left tackle, we had a major problem when Christian Jarisaw couldn't play. And I get that Justin School went in there and tried to do his best, but he's not Christian Jarisaw.
Yeah, those are tough shoes to fill. It's a fair donkey. I don't like it, but it's fair because Yeah, he's down here at the bottom too. Justin Scootle, out of 16 players ranked, he was 13th. Not very
Not
good.
good.
Yeah,
55.8.
we got to get Christian back for this this offensive line.
The nice
here
thing is
really
that he was
soon.
close to being able to go. I did miss Harrison Smith, though, that's for sure, and I don't really 100% know what this illness is that he's dealing with right now.
Yeah, I didn't know going into the game. I didn't know something was wrong. That freaked me out. I was like, does he have an injury we don't know about? Like, I didn't hear anything about this until he showed up. I just know, hey, I thought they were, slowly getting him back in just for veteran stuff. Like, hey, you get a veteran day because you're old, but know that. I'm torn on right. Great holder, mediocre punter. Yeah, he had some struggles last night too. Kyle, who's your donkey going to?
You could give it to JJ McCarthy because, boy, that was a terrible first 3 quarters of the game. But you know what? The kid showed some moxie and his ability to just, believe in himself when dude played maybe the worst he's played since high school. I'm
And
going
it
to
was crazy to see
imagine.
the team being down 11 and JJ McCarthy still on the sideline hyping up his teammates.
Right. And you can only do that for so long. You have to actually be able to perform. And, you know where I'm going with this? You can hype them up, but if you suck, they're very quickly going to, not listen to what you're saying.
Oh, yeah.
So, but bravo to him. And he had that excellent quote that he said in the huddle, too, that reminded me of Harbaugh. Where else would you rather be than here?
Yeah.
That's 100% Jim Harbaugh. That.
And it was funny
that's
hearing Aaron Jones talking about JJ McCarthy talking like that and hyping people up because he sounds bought in.
Yeah.
I'd have to imagine most of these guys after last night you could see in the locker room when they were giving away game balls, you could see how hyped everybody was. You can't fake any of that stuff. Obviously everything's good after a win. But, yeah, I totally believe the team is bought in on him.
Right.
A lot of people were saying, in their review of the game today, because you have to start out talking about how ugly it started. So,
Right.
man, if you're an offensive lineman, you're 32 years old, 31 years old, and you got a 22-year-old kid coming up trying to hype you up after he throws a pick six,
Yeah.
I'd be like, hey, sit down and shut up. We got to figure this out.
Right.
But, that's cool. That pick six was awful. It was one of the worst ones. That's like a Daniel Jones, Eli Manning, buh kind of thing. Really, it hurt my heart. That's the point where I was really pissed. But
And of course, as former Vikings cornerback Nishan Wright.
it was an ice cold stare down at the Vikings sidelines too. It was so cold, man. But yeah, somehow they rallied back. Jonathan put it in here. I heard on the after game report that the last time a quarterback debuted scored 2 touchdowns in a quarter or a game was Fran T in 1961. Actually, I think it was him. And
I do have that in my article on the Viking Age. That is true.
Steve Young was brought up at some point. I think it was the first game played that they played in, not rookie, whatever, because Adam will give you all of his thoughts on that,
Yep.
calling JJ McCarthy a rookie.
In a quarterback's debut, apparently no quarterback had scored 2 touchdowns and run one in since Cam Newton, who was the former MVP.
He's among some good company, man. But yeah, I
forgot to give my donkey. I got completely sidetracked and started talking about JJ McCarthy. We segued completely out of it. So my donkey, I am gonna pick a little bit. I do agree with Kyle Smith. Brian Flores, I'm not 100% sure what was going on in at least the first half of that with the game plan. They were kind of letting the Bears have their way with them on offense out there. They were moving the ball. They weren't getting pressure. Caleb Williams is out here running around. When they focused, when they funneled back into what they, in my opinion, should be doing, sending the fucking house.
And what was it,
And
the first series for the Bears that he didn't even send a single blitz?
I was so pissed. Oh, I was so pissed. It's like find a quarterback that's got a noodle arm, and hey, we're just going to do play action when we can, and we're going to run the ball a lot. And you're like, hey, I'm going to make this guy drop back 17 times in a row. Why are you doing that? That's not what they're good at.
Also,
it's weird, man.
Donkey to Kyle Smith for continually shitting on Brock Purdy. I need you to apologize to Brock Purdy.
I will never apologize to Brock Purdy getting overpaid. Everybody wanted to shit on Kirk Cousins for getting all that money.
I will fight you on this Brock Purdy slander. He has never played 3/4 of football as bad as what JJ McCarthy did for
No,
the
I gotta
That is
call out
very
Vikings,
Vikings
dude.
fans a little bit on this one. I got tired of seeing that crying, reminiscing Wolverine meme with him holding the frame and there being Sam Darnold in there.
Yeah.
Sam
Yeah.
Darnold did not have a great game for Seattle.
Right.
So I don't know. Maybe it would be different if he was still in Minnesota. I don't know,
Sam
but
Sam
we
Darnold is
moved
going to
on.
be coming back down to earth when he's not throwing to 18 and he doesn't have KOC calling the plays for him. Like
They could
I
have won
think
that
there's
game Sunday had he not ran into the back of his lineman, I believe. So that's embarrassing. I almost gave my donkey to Adam Thielen because he was the
Aw.
second worst graded offensive player at
Hey,
50.
he caught that 2-point though. Good for
But
him.
that's what got me to get away from him. Guys, I said the secondary was going to be an issue. Isaiah Rodgers, number 13 out of 18, 52. Theo Jackson, number 15 out of 18, 44.9. Byron Murphy, 16, 40.3. Jeffrey Okuda, 36.8. The only person worse than him graded last night was Ivan Pace at 30.0. Jeff Okuda, that reclamation tour and project that you were starting here, I need it to start now.
Where is Eric Wilson on that list?
Eric Wilson is 11th. He is at 59.3. He is
All right.
just out of the orange. He's a very dark yellow in this year. The top performers on defense, Jay Ward had himself a night. Highest graded defensive player. Josh Metellus, Levi Drake Rodriguez, and Tyron Ingram Dawkins, top 4. Yeah, the big boys and a couple
I
of the
love
safeties did
seeing
great.
Levi Drake Rodriguez out there making plays for the
Was
Vikings.
Hargrave at least in the 70s and 80s, somewhere in there?
You asked me as soon as I got out of that. Give me 1 second, Adam. I'm going to find it right now.
Sorry about that.
No worries. I had it pulled up.
Well, I
Because he
will fill
definitely
up
passed the eye test, but I have not looked at the scores.
He was 8th out of 18 with 61.7. He is right there in the middle. So yeah, he had a fine game.
I think you can pencil in corner for the Vikings' first round draft pick in the next draft
I had
because
that
you're
penciled
right.
in this year, and that was
Yeah.
the case.
Yeah, we were all wrong on that. That's
It's
funny.
it's patchwork back in that secondary right now, and I am concerned going down the line, dude. Like I know they pulled out the win, and trust me, I'm excited. I think there's some positives that come out of that game. There's a hell of a lot that they have to work on. I'm reminded that Rex Ryan quote when the Jets were on Hard Knocks, where they had the funeral for the game tape. Like the first 3/4 of that football game, I don't even know if you go back and watch it. I think you bury that game tape and you just move on from it, dude. But I would hate to see this Vikings team going against the Eagles, the Ravens, like those top tier squads right now, because I don't think it would be a good matchup at the moment.
But I think all of us like, Harrison Smith. We like Josh Metellus.
Oh
But
yeah.
there's definitely some work in that secondary that guys are going to need to step up.
Well,
Do we
you
miss
made me
Cam
think-
Bynum? You guys
I
missing
do
Cam
miss,
Bynum?
I do
a
miss
little bit?
Ken Bynum a little bit. Yeah.
His Madden glitch celebration was hilarious.
That was hilarious, dude.
People thought he was like pretending to have a seizure, and we're mad about that. And it's like that's not what he's doing at all.
People are mad about anything. You could say, I like pancakes. And Twitter
of-
would be like, the
Oh,
hell
those
you
waffle
do
people
like
will be after you.
pancakes.
Speaking
Yeah.
of being mad, and here we have to put it up there. I give my donkey award to myself because, like
You're
Adam said,
salty.
I crashed out the hardest I've ever crashed out during our friendship and fandom of this team. I was so fucking mad last night because the hype around it, and I'll just be honest, man. I'm not saying this to sound like an edgelord or like I know what I'm talking about. I am just another dumbass who has a camera and a computer. For some reason, you guys like to gather and watch us talk, and we do appreciate it. But there's so much hype going from a 14-win season and then pivoting off the dude who pretty much drove and navigated you that way. I understand why they did. I don't know that I would have put all my eggs in the Sam Darnold basket. There could have been an alternate universe where they're like, I don't like that knee thing, and Sam was probably beating you anyways. We'll do another year of Sam, and maybe next year we'll go after somebody. Because I keep hearing this is going to be another great quarterback class, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, the point of my rant right now is to have all the preparation going in and the excitement, this kid's a winner and he never loses and he's this and that. And then to see that for 3/4 of the game, I thought last night it was looking like we're fighting with Cleveland and Carolina for who's going to get the third, second overall pick.
And
Yeah.
Detroit.
And Detroit looks so bad. But yeah, to bring it back down to earth and to say like, hey, it's going to be okay. I think what going forward is, and what I learned last night was this: if this is the formula, like let's look at the LA Rams, right? That's relevant because KOC came from that system most recently. They don't play anybody in the preseason. You should expect going forward, and I got to tell myself this first of anyone, the first game every year is going to look like shit for a little bit because if they're only going to play 2 or 3 drives in the preseason of starters in the preseason for those 3 games.
Big picture here too is that this is a team that has legitimate Super Bowl expectations right now. Okay.
Yeah.
And we know what we're expecting from this team as fans, and as a fan base, we have been burnt a lot at the quarterback position. We've been all in. I was all in on Teddy Bridgewater, all in on Christian Ponder. There were moments where I really liked Tavares Jackson. I mean, you want to believe in these guys. And so when you saw JJ McCarthy go out there and struggle the way he did, I understand where you're coming from, Smith, because you have that immediate "holy shit, here we go again" moment of panic. I trust me, I did the same thing. You got to take a breath, and you got to calm down a little bit.
A lot.
And you just got to calm down a lot, and you just got to trust and realize. We even said it on the podcast. There are gonna be growing pains with JJ McCarthy. It's gonna take him a little bit. He's got the tools and the coaching staff and the weapons on the field to succeed. This is not the Christian Ponder Vikings. This is not the Teddy Bridgewater Vikings. It's a different situation. We got to let it breathe for a little bit.
This game, I really started to wonder. I was like, okay, so why did the Minnesota Vikings pay Justin Jefferson? Why did they trade for Adam Thielen? Why did they use a top draft pick on Ty Felton when they're just not going to pass the ball? Be able to pass the ball. What's the point?
I really do feel like this team is going to mirror a lot of what JJ McCarthy had at Michigan and what the 49ers look like. And I'm comparing Brock Purdy to
watch it. Watch your tongue.
No. This is a good one. This is actually a positive. I think, and I said it last night jokingly so shout out to my buddy Matt here. He's in Nashville. He's one of my K9 guys, right? He's a huge Colts fan, but he worked up in Minnesota for a while at the airport up there. So
you got to watch Daniel Jones look like Drew Bledsoe.
Dude, and Daniel Jones smoked the Dolphins. It was so funny. But yeah, he's like an honorary Vikings fan after working in Minneapolis for so long, and he always checks in, like, good friend of mine, and he said, hey, ride the storm, it's going to be fine. And I said, we got Diet Brock Purdy at quarterback, 10th overall, and we're fucking stuck with him. And the reason I got mad wasn't even the game. I kept looking. I'm 37, and I'm looking, I'm like, I have to wait until at least the fall of next year to have any hope. And it's week 1, it's hour 1 into the season. So, freaking out.
Don't you love what football does to us?
Being an idiot, like I usually am, I was like, okay, cool. But I really have to say shifting, and we'll talk about the game now instead of the overall feeling. Go ahead.
I have a thought to share, too. So this was my worst thought when McCarthy was at his absolute worst during the beginning portion of that game. I legitimately had a thought that was like, and they said Tim Tebow can't play in the NFL.
I thought you were going to say they should call Atlanta before Sunday so Kirk can come back.
Oh, but I bet you people were thinking it. But do you see
Colin
Coward backtracked a little bit?
Oh, I commented on his YouTube channel today. I said, wow, you had them last in the division not even a week ago. Okay.
And now he's like, he had that Superman performance, but now he's starting to look like Baker Mayfield. I'm like, okay, that's a big improvement from saying he's going to be useless. And now you're saying he looks like Baker Mayfield, last year Baker was great.
Right, and this is an excellent point by Matthew Kyle in the chat as well, too. It has been a tick since McCarthy played an actual game. Like, not just NFL debut, but
609 days, they said on the broadcast.
You got to shake some of that rust off, man. And, I know he played a spell in preseason, but this counted. and it's different. The speed is different. The intensity is different. This is not preseason. So I do think that McCarthy can settle down and settle into a groove and get going with it.
I think
And Bears fans have the excuses right now. They're like, oh, they had a lot of calls against them. They were missing 2 corners. It's like, that's the NFL.
You guys fumbled the game away. You gave this game away. And the Vikings, deservedly
won.
so, clawed back into the game. And you have to put teams away. Like, you can't let up on the gas. And you can't beat yourself. But I wouldn't be upset if I'm a Bears fan, rationally speaking. Caleb Williams showed you at least a half of football. Like, damn, he looks pretty good. Ben Johnson is obviously an upgrade from Eberflus. They're building the roster well.
I'm an upgrade from Eberflus.
To my point, what I was saying before, we all keep jumping in. We have great discussion tonight. I think this team is going to look like San Francisco used to look a few years ago. JJ McCarthy will need a good run game, but I think since Kevin O'Connell's been here, I don't think the run game's been anything to talk about that's noteworthy. It's been pretty bad up until last year where it was just formidable. It wasn't even great. It was just, it's all right.
Now you
I
can
like
tell
Aaron
Kevin
Jones.
O'Connell is a quarterback guru. He knows his way around a quarterback room. He works with those quarterbacks, but you don't have to have an extreme passing offense to have a successful team. And now that he's got JJ McCarthy, he doesn't need JJ McCarthy to drop back 40 times a game.
Yep, my point exactly. I think if there is a quarterback that I see physically and with the game that I think J.J. McCarthy looks like, it is Brock Purdy. He's not the biggest dude in the world. He's athletic enough. I've seen Brock Purdy throw some dimes. I've seen him make smart decisions and kind of impressed when I go into the game every game thinking like I kind of want to hate on him a little bit. And then I walk away and I'm like, no, he's actually pretty good at quarterback. He doesn't look like Josh Allen, so I'm not going to give him the credit he probably deserves. But I just want him to build on this. Have less of the time of the game where you look like this shouldn't be your job. Because we got to go into the stats about it. That first half of that, I was like, oh my God, he's not an NFL quarterback. He has no idea what he's doing.
That McCarthy throw to Aaron Jones was a dime.
It was so good.
Yeah,
I couldn't believe it was a running back catching that too.
Me too.
That was crazy.
That was a good play design too, because
that was a great play design.
Usually your running back on that route is going to either stop or slant across the middle of the field, and to have him do a little stutter step and then keep going, that completely fucked the defense. And it got himself open, and that was a hell of a catch. That hell of a catch for a running back.
JJ McCarthy ran an option, and I know that's usually a play that people run in college, but he looked so comfortable choosing to take that ball and run.
Well, I love how hype he was too, because when he took off, I was like, oh, there's a Shane Gillis bit about this, right? It's fucking hilarious. It's talking about white cornerbacks and how there's no more in the NFL. He's like, there hasn't been forever. There's only 2 left at the San Diego Zoo. He's making fun of Alabama, why Alabama's so good now is like up until like 1971, it was all white guys. And then they scheduled USC. If you guys don't know the bit, it's one of the best comedy bits I've ever.
It's hilarious.
He's like, they scheduled USC. It's an all-black team from Los Angeles, and they kicked the fuck out of Alabama. So Bear Bryant was like, all right, guys, you can come play for us. And he's like, don't get it twisted. He's like, I still have a little bit of that in me on Sundays. Like, when I see a white guy catch a ball, I'm like, oh, shit, go, 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 go. They got him.
Matthew Kyle here is talking about that throw to Justin Jefferson. Watching that game and even watching replays, I'm not sure how that ball got there. That window had to have been so small.
Oh, you're talking about the touchdown. Yeah. I was trying to get to that point too, but I was too busy trying to quote Shane Gillis. So that throw to Aaron Jones to the right to the end zone, it reminded me of that Kirk throw a little bit to Adam Thielen in Green Bay. I think it was his first year.
I can see that.
A little bit, right? There's 2 defenders. I was like, holy shit, that's cool. But that's the throw of the night that Matt's talking about here. That's a laser. I'm not saying that it was an errant throw, but that's a big boy throw, as we call it. It's like you can't not be accurate with that throw.
You miss the mark, and bad things are going to happen.
Correct. So to have the game and already have a pick six behind you, and then to have that one, I think that's his best throw of the game. I think the wow moment of the game, outside of him running one in, was the throw to Aaron Jones. Funny on the stat sheet though, Aaron Jones and Justin Jefferson had the same amount of yards, and they both caught it.
And if you were watching the Madden cast, Randy Moss called that pass, the touchdown that Justin Jefferson just called it, and he was so happy and excited. It was great.
I love all these comments. The option was an awesome play call. It was. That got me hyped. When he rounded the corner, I was like, oh, shit. Oh, my God, he's going to score. I thought he was going to run out of bounds, but
And there was some solid blocking down the field, too. You got to give that credit.
Oh, he's talking about the first half throw on the drive that resulted in 3. I don't remember that one. I'll have to remember and watch again.
They got to do a better job. I'm not saying you got to force the ball to 18, but they do got to figure out how to get him more involved in the game plan. Obvious statement is obvious for a reason. You want to get the best wide receiver in the league. Probably a little more yards than what we say, 48.
Yeah.
44 receiving yards, but he did catch a touchdown, which is good. I think this is a great point to segue that, Kyle, is when Jordan Addison is out and you only have Adam Thielen and Naylor as the drop-off, it's a little bit further than in between Addison going down the rung. Expect it to be kind of like what it was these first couple games. But
it's the same thing with Jets out here too. You know, he was injured a little bit in training camp. You got to shake some of that rust off. I don't care how great you are as an athlete. Mm-hmm. Like, he didn't play in preseason. I don't know how much reps he was getting in training camp. So it's going to take him maybe this game to shake some of it off too. He will bounce back and he will have a phenomenal performance here real soon, and I think he'll be right back to where he needs to be. Like, the Vikings know to get 18 involved in the game plan.
I know Smith was too mad to really appreciate it at that point, but West, when the first half was coming to a close and the Vikings got the ball with like less than a minute left, I was sitting there, I was thinking, just take the knee, go to halftime. I didn't think there was any way they were going to get in bounds, but I felt a little bit of a momentum change when McCarthy was able to hit, was it Naylor on that big pass?
It was Naylor, yep.
It was Naylor,
Correct.
I do remember that. And then I believe that's when Will the Thrill
hit the field goal, right?
Hit the field goal, yeah. That
was a big decision, too. I mean, you got to put a lot of trust in a guy's leg at a stadium where the turf was just installed and looked dangerous as heck.
The turf was so shitty. Oh, my goodness. That's all I heard last night. My buddy David that's in here earlier, he sent that yesterday. He's like, well, the turf looks terrible. I was like, please don't. With this quarterback and what just happened to Europe, please don't. I can't.
Yeah.
Oh. But hey, I mean, probably we should have given him a game ball. Honorary game ball to Will the Thrill. Thank you for not fucking up in the one thing that you're supposed to do.
Yeah, man, there was, some talk about him not looking good in training camp.
Oh, yeah.
Everything we've seen past those initial reports, fingers crossed, dudes looked really good.
He did. I'm so pumped after everything settled down. This is the grittiest win I've seen this team have in a while, where they just kind of had to gut it out. I had lost all my faith in this team, and then they came around and gave me a big middle finger, which I completely deserved. Looking at the stat sheet real quick, and just it's a tale of two halves. I thought Caleb Williams played better most of the game, like all of us. He had a rating of 86.6. Somehow, JJ McCarthy came out with a 98.5 rating. I don't know how that's possible. He was sacked 3 times for 9 yards. He was trying to escape on 2 of those and make a play out of nothing, and I appreciated the effort. He only passed the ball 20 times. He was 13 of 20, 2 touchdowns in the air, 1 pick, and he also was second in rushing with 25 rushing yards and a score. So, yeah, Minnesota did not score in the first quarter, which is really weird. Remember last year they started off hot and then kind of maintained through the second and third quarter and would figure it out at the end. They only scored.
It took till the third drive to get a first down, which was not good.
Just everything was bad. They scored 2 field goals in the second quarter, the long one, which is great. They didn't score again in the third quarter, and then magically in the fourth quarter they scored 21 points, which is insane. So,
I wonder what truly causes a professional football team to look as flat on offense as what the Vikings did. Like, what is the root cause of that?
Is that like a physical lack of preparedness? Is it mental? What's the whole
I wonder if it's mental. I don't have an answer.
It's got to be mental, but to what degree is weird. That's the thing that I guess we'll never know unless we get to ask them ourselves. Is how much of it was mental? How much of it was knocking off the rust, as we say for Jets and some other players? But man, we have to give credit where credit's due. The Bears' defense is good. They are a good unit, and they were missing key players. And shout out to them, man. They made life pretty difficult for about 75% of that game.
Yeah,
they're going to be.
We see Mensa coming in this offseason and looking to get those trenches fixed and get everything right. Looks like a real investment that's paid off.
We just got to wonder and hope now, like the health situation, if everybody can stay healthy, because We're seeing a very much improved offensive line, which I thank God. Thank God. Even with the issues of pressure last night, he wasn't getting clobbered. Like, this didn't look anything like the last game the Vikings played where there was a defensive tackle in the lap of the quarterback literally every other play. So that's a sigh of relief to start, because that is a formidable defensive line. And they're going to play even better ones down the stretch during the season, but that's a good litmus test to be like, okay, we can at least play with these guys, and they're not completely getting dominated.
You don't miss having your center get shoved directly into your quarterback.
You know, he's the one that I got most excited about when McCarthy rushed for that touchdown. He's the one that I noticed because I'm like, I don't remember his face. Oh, that's Ryan Kelly. That's cool.
Yeah.
He was one of the guys that was super jacked to come over and while JJ's like flexing.
And can we talk about the Vikings' discipline for a second? Because Bears players were getting in the Vikings' faces, and they weren't retaliating. And Bears players, I want to say they had 12 penalties accepted against them.
12 penalties. Nobody spat in another person's chest, which is really good. Shout out to the city of Philadelphia for always being classy.
And you were right. It turned out to be a fine. He's not going to get any additional suspension or anything like that.
I don't know how much I agree or disagree with it. I don't know what the right barometer is for that. I think if you spit on someone, it's the most disrespectful thing you could do, but I don't know. He's going to play Sunday, so cool, I guess. I think he's a shitty human, so I could care less.
I am excited to watch that game, though. Is that a Super Bowl rematch?
Super Bowl rematch. I have Chiefs fatigue to the maximum, but I will be a diehard Chiefs fan because fuck the entire city of Philadelphia. Every time I can say that, I'll do it with a smile on my face.
And I will absolutely be watching on Thursday night because I need to see if it was just, that Green Bay was that good or were the Lions bad. And Washington's going to be a great test for Green Bay.
Isn't it in Washington as well?
I think so.
Yeah, that'll be a tough game for Green Bay. For everything I hear, they looked wonderful yesterday, or Sunday. So I don't know. I didn't watch. You guys have some good comments. McCarthy learned how quick these D linemen are and how big they are. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Wish I could see the game speed through JJ's eyes from the crazy to the settled in. He has to be laser focused, man. And I know that's a weird, we're talking about intangible stuff that you can't see, but the attitude.
You guys see the
means a
video
lot.
of him in the huddle early where he had his hands out, to get the snap, and they were just shaking.
Were they?
Oh,
bet.
I mean, that's a total human moment. I've told the
It
story on the podcast when I got the opportunity to tour US Bank Stadium and we got to walk onto the field. I was with my friend Mike and we were standing on the Vikings logo in the middle of the field, and you look up and you just see how gigantic the place is. And I told Mike, I was like, can you imagine jam-packed with people and they're all yelling? I go, I understand why Christian Ponder would shit himself in that situation. That would be, if you're not wired for that, dude, that would be absolutely terrifying. So him having some jitters out there, that's human. That's normal.
That's funny. You can bring up this comment to bring that in segue too. Wes says, if I'm a Bears fan, I'm pissed that the false starts. That many at home is inexcusable. That's part of the reason McCarthy was having such trouble last night. There was many times in that first half where they barely got the ball out before the clock hit 0. And it was so many chances for them to get a delay of game.
And they did one time when the clock didn't get reset, and that was kind of BS, but
yeah,
that happens.
You know what? We'll take that one because everybody was bitching about phantom holding calls or something like that. So I'm still on board. Like, whether you're a Bears fan and you think some stuff was egregious or not, or you're a Vikings fan, you're like, it is what it is.
The Bears are still on their way up. I'll say that.
Yeah, for sure. I was going on about the referees. We still need to fix that. They need to be full-time referees, and they need to be held accountable.
Oh, without a doubt.
That's still my number one gripe about this league, and there's no excuse for years and years on end why they can't be full-time, paid better, and then held accountable, because the NFL makes so much money. Like, I think these referees make like $200,000 a year.
But the Bears fans, on TikTok and Twitter and whatever, they are hilarious. They're like, same Bears, different year.
So that banner of them rolling in the field, it was like first quarter champions or whatever.
Oh, the opening drive touchdown champions.
Oh my gosh. I would feel, shout out to my buddy James, one of my good friends, diehard Bears fan. He didn't watch last night. He had something going on, so he's like, I completely shut my phone off, and then I woke up, didn't turn it on, and I watched the condensed version of the game. And he texted me about 10 a.m. He's like, Caleb's a bust, Ben Johnson sucks, same old Bears. I was like, damn, really? I was actually impressed by you guys. He goes, this is the life. He's like, this is infuriating. I can't believe you guys won that game. And I was like, well, me too.
But we've had seasons like this where the Vikings were just awful, and the secondary, that was giving things away. The offense couldn't move, and Vikings fans have experienced that too.
Speaking of the Christian Ponder years, horrible corners and a very, very subpar quarterback. Crazy.
And Adrian Peterson.
Yeah, and then you got Adrian Peterson, and there's Jared Allen still on the team. That was cool.
Yeah.
Rushing last night, Kyle mentioned it. Jordan Mason led the way, 15 carries for 68 yards.
Kid's a stud.
McCarthy was 2 for 25 and a score. Aaron Jones 8 for 23. Justin Jefferson had 1 attempt with 4.
And Mason's vision was real good, and when he hit a hole, he hit hard.
I love that. I love that there are two, you have to have that formula on any team. I'm not saying anything groundbreaking, but the two different styles of running back that they have, they complement each other so well.
Aaron Jones is a solid contributor out there as well, too. His ability to catch passes is going to keep him, as a focal point on this offense as well, too. They have an excellent, 1-2, 1-2 dynamic between the two running backs on this team right now. I really like that.
Well, here's the good part, too, Kyle. CJ Ham's on the pup. When he comes back and everything gets colder, they got to play outside in these games. Guess who's going to lead the way for that for Jordan Mason?
CJ Ham.
I can't wait for that because the team's going to look real boring, but that means they're going to move the chains, and I'm all about them being boring and moving the chains.
I need me a CJ Ham pancake block in my life right now.
Absolutely.
And I'll be a little bit of a jerk, but Josh Oliver did not impress me this game.
He caught JJ's first pass, his NFL pass, which was nice for 5 yards. But, yeah, that 2-point attempt was pretty weak. He didn't have the scoop that I wanted.
He tried to go for a corner instead of running towards the goal line, which, if it's a 2-point conversion, you got people collapsing on you, you got to get to that line.
When you're that big, lower your shoulder and truck a mother.
Go through a corner.
Yeah, just go for it, dude.
Good point.
Because blocking is important in this team, with this team, and if you're going to try to do something like that, and you're going to get a big-bodied guy in there, use that big body.
I don't have the stats to back it up, but I feel like yards after catch were a problem for the Vikings this game as well, too. Did you guys kind of feel that way, that there was a lot of...
I feel that way early, absolutely.
Yeah, yep.
But I don't think there was a tackling problem or anything like that.
I don't remember. I don't have that in front of me. I'm just reading off of ESPN. Shout out to Vikes Verified on Instagram. That's where I got those PFF grades earlier, which is very nice of them to share with the public. Oh my God! I'd soon pay for NFL Plus before I pay for PFF. Oh no. Minnesota receiving. Sorry, I was trying to fit that in there. Get a CJ Ham shout out and reference. Give that guy some love. He'll be back soon. Receiving, like I said earlier, Aaron Jones and Justin Jefferson both had 44 yards.
Both
of them
wild.
had receiving touchdowns, which was weird. Really funny now that I think of it. Kay Adams put up a bet yesterday on her Instagram. I guess it was sponsored, and it was like Justin Jefferson and Roma Dunze will go over 200 yards combined. It's like, no, they won't. They both won't get 100 yards combined. Every bet that was up there didn't happen, and it was total dog shit from this game, which was really funny. But I just remember that. I thought it was funny. Jalen Naylor, 1 for 28. Hawk had 3 for 15. Jordan Mason and Josh Oliver both caught a pass as well. Adam Thielen had a target, but he did not come down with it, which was really weird. Fumbles, DJ Moore fumbled, and Jay Ward recovered. And then on defense, we went through a little bit earlier. Josh Metellus led the way in tackles. Javon Hargrave, Eric Wilson, Van Ginkel, Isaiah Rodgers, and Ivan Pace all had 5. Sacks were only 2 in the game for the Vikings to Javon Hargrave. There were 6 tackles for loss. Shout out to Ingram Dawkins for getting himself a pass defense.
That young depth on the D-line, I love it.
It's so good. Oh, my God, it's so good. I'm going to be so mad when Brian Flores takes a head coaching job somewhere because they are using these kids that I won't say that they shouldn't be playing this well, but these wouldn't be household names. But I feel like there's a couple that will be household names within a season or two. They have such good depth on this line. We already mentioned Will the Thrill, 2 for 2 and 1 for 1, along of 59, which is a Soldier Field record. Kick returns, we got to give a shout out. 3 for 84 for Ty Chandler and 2 for 49. they have some specialty and some oomph there with special teams, and it's really fun to see. And just so you guys know, somebody made a comment about that to me just personally in a DM. They're like, "Oh, this new kickoff sucks." Well, kickoffs are up and by a decent margin, so I wouldn't say that because they are making them more exciting. And I feel like they've kind of found a way to make it safe but still make it exciting, which is really good. We needed that.
Yeah, they had to change that yardage for a touchback because at the point it was at, it was not worth it to kick the ball to where it's returnable. You just boot that thing out the end of the end zone, which had been what Minnesota did all last season.
Which is, most teams were doing that, but what I like now is you're not asking somebody to boot it out of the back of the end zone and use all of your power. Now you have to have accuracy and touch, much like a quarterback would have, to say, hey, look, you got to get it past this line, but you can't go over there. I think that's really interesting, being the nerd of football that I am. And I think it's really fun because not every kicker is going to do it the same way. Not everybody has the same distance and power. That's the thing that I've enjoyed about the new kickoff, but the numbers are up, so don't complain about the kickoff.
We've seen a few less injuries. I know there was an injury on that kickoff in the Philly game, but otherwise I didn't really notice one this in week 1, so that's a good thing.
Gink almost got it. He had a hand on it. Had the left hand on it. Looked a lot like that Daniel Jones pick 6 last year in New York.
He identified that play immediately. He knew what was going on.
Meanwhile, sometimes when I bend down too fast, I get a headache. These guys are super athletic. So the Vikings, that's all I got for the game. We gave our game balls and donkeys away. The Vikings will host their home opener on Sunday Night Football, so another primetime game. They will be hosting the Atlanta Falcons. This is a rematch of Michael Penix versus JJ McCarthy from the national championship game in college last year. And this is also the Kirk Cousins Ride the Bench revenge game. That's actually what I'm going to name the episode. Ride the Bench revenge game. I don't know. I think that Atlanta's going to be very good. I think their defense is much improved. I didn't think I was going to be impressed watching Penix, but I watched that game because it was in the 1 o'clock window.
Did you watch that Superman jump for the end zone?
Yeah.
I watched most of that one because I didn't want to watch Cleveland or Carolina, so I refused.
That Carolina game was brutal.
It was awful. Bryce Young is terrible. Michael Penix might be the real deal, man. I didn't see it, but I didn't do a lot of research on him. I don't think this is going to be a cakewalk for the Vikings. I don't think any game is going to be a cakewalk for this team this year. I think they're just built that way. But I think
let's be honest, Bijan Robinson's going to be a problem.
Yeah. He's good.
And here's one of the forgotten receivers in the league who's very good that nobody talks about. Drake London is with the Atlanta Falcons, and he's very good as well. So, yeah, that'll be an interesting game. But I am excited to see how crazy US Bank Stadium will be for that. That home opener should be very awesome. So Sunday night, 8:20 Eastern. I'm ready for it. I cannot believe the Vikings won this game. I'm not embarrassed. I ride with my shame that I mostly deserve from last night. But, man, I can't think of a time I've been more mad about them winning a football game. But honestly, it honestly doesn't feel like they won.
I was so defeated while watching that. I was frustrated. I was sad. I thought there was no chance of a comeback. But then again, I also didn't think Buffalo was going to come back on Sunday night. So
we had 2 of the craziest games of the year, and it was the first week. It's crazy. What I hate the most about it is, like, I wasn't a JJ McCarthy fan, and by all means, I'm not buying his jersey or something, but after that, he's going to make me believe, and I'm really irritated with that. I still feel like it's too early. Adam will not have it to where you call JJ McCarthy a rookie, even though he is starting his first year playing in the NFL. I want to give him at least 2 seasons of playing before I buy into him, but after last night, after that fourth quarter, I was like, oh, man, he's got it. He's got the it factor that I love.
Tebow time.
Oh, God.
I actually got excited while watching that fourth quarter, and when the Vikings can make things exciting and entertaining, they're such a good team to watch.
Let's look at that.
Well, what's crazy about this too, Wes, is okay, they open up on Monday Night Football, then they got a Sunday Night Football, and then they got a home game, around noon. Then they have two more standalone games because of the international games.
Yeah.
This is a lot of eyes on the Minnesota Vikings early. 4 standalone games in the first 5.
I'm looking and asking.
I was buying you time.
I know.
Apparently not enough.
Sorry. Wes says, has any rookie ever started with 2 primetime games in a row? Yeah, last year, Jaden Daniels. Thank you, AI and Google. Week 16? Oh, no, it started 2 in a row. You meant to start the season, I'm guessing.
I
Oh,
think
let me
he's
ask
starting
that.
his NFL career.
I asked it kind of like that in the chat. Yeah, he did it last year in week 16 and 17. Started the season. Let's see what AI says. Has any rookie quarterback started the season with 2 primetime games in a row? Please take your time, Google. Sunday night is also in prime time. Caleb Williams in 2024 made his NFL debut on Sunday Night Football against Seattle. Week 2 was also in prime time with the Bears playing on Sunday night again. Caleb Williams last year.
That's crazy. It was that soon ago.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, his season was kind of forgettable, so it
But
makes
then
sense.
we knew Minnesota was going to get some primetime games because they won 14 games last year, you know?
I'm still on the train. Like, I understand that this is just a money-making machine now. It's just a giant check-writing ATM for all these billionaires. But I will never understand why Dallas gets so many primetime games every year. It
They're
bothers
just
me.
a massive market.
Huge market.
I hate it. They're not good.
And in the scope of things, Minnesota, even though they cover such a large area, it's a smaller market.
It is. I understand the money part of it. I wish the team was good. It is fun watching them lose, though. So I answered my own question within 30 seconds. It is a lot of fun to root against them.
Now,
And
I will
Dallas,
say Dallas impressed me in week 1. They hung in there, and I didn't think they'd be able to.
I think it was very dumb to trade away Micah Parsons because when you go to the draft and you try to find a stud pass rusher, you probably are looking for one that's kind of like Micah Parsons. I don't know. And somebody said it this way, which is like the super obvious thing you don't think about. Because when we talk about trades like that with Micah and all this stuff, you think about the totality of, because you're not going to count your money if we made a trade with money or sold something together, right? Well, I got $100, but I made $1,000, but I'm only going to spend $100 tomorrow. No, you're going to look at it and be like, I made $1,000. That's amazing. The Cowboys getting 2 first-round picks and having 4 first-round picks in the next 2 seasons, that's very good. That doesn't do fuck all for you now. So basically, right now for the season, they straight up traded Micah Parsons for Kenny Clark, which is like an F- on Madden. That's a stupid thing to do. And Kenny Clark's a good player.
Yeah, he is.
You don't give away the A++ for a guy that's like B-.
For me, it was the timing of the trade that was terrible. They waited until teams were pretty much settled with their salary cap and had used their draft picks. And I mean, at that point, if Dallas would have wanted to trade him, there were such better times to do it.
Correct. They didn't leverage that. And for Jerry to be such the businessman who talks about how great the brand is, he sure does make some dumb, shitty deals that don't make any sense for him to be such a businessman. But that, such as the Cowboys, they get what they deserve with that because he's ruining everything that is about that football operation. It's worse because if you were just the Browns or the Jags or the Panthers or whoever, Tennessee, and you're just perpetually horrible, cool, you at least have a shot at a quarterback. Dallas is good enough to where they're never going to be able to do that unless you trade away somebody like Micah Parsons.
Yeah, we are creeping into Jerry Jones is the new Al Davis territory.
I think he's already there. I think it's there. 30 years and not getting to an NFC Championship game. Shit, the Vikings have made it twice since then. 3 times, I believe. So, yeah.
So we got a comment on here about the Vikings fans in the UK being great, and Minnesota having the first game in Ireland is going to be really interesting because that's a whole country getting exposed to a new sport and potentially getting a whole lot more Vikings fans internationally.
I hope they interview a ton of these Irish fans. The accent is amazing, and I know they're just going to be fun and rowdy. And I want to hear all about the experience that week, and I want it documented everywhere. I'll consume all of that content.
And the Vikings are going to be pushing Carson Wentz over there. Look, we got a ginger too.
We got a nice ginger. Let's see if we can do his 23andMe and rush it back to see where he's from, if it's anywhere near there. Oh,
like
great.
I said when we were talking about the schedule, place your bets on the Vikings. There's no way a team with the head coach whose last name is O'Connell is going to lose in Ireland. That is not a thing that's going to happen.
Let's be honest, the Steelers are looking quite good, and Aaron Rodgers is looking kind of like the Aaron Rodgers of old in some ways.
You knew he was going to stick it to the Jets, and he had no problem saying Hey, I wanted to beat everybody associated with that organ. I love
You
his
know,
level of pettiness with that so much.
I do too, because
I
we all
appreciate the
kind of,
honesty.
yeah, we hate the generic sports athlete answer in the media that don't really mean anything. I love Aaron Rodgers being comfortable enough at this stage in his career to be like, "Nah, I wanted to beat him. Fuck him."
Well, that's the thing that I can't stand. If you don't like his politics or you don't like his views on some things, that's fine. But we live in a world where everybody wants you to be authentic, and they want you like we're dying for authenticity. We're dying for that behind the scenes kind of thing, so it feels more intimate and more real. And he's being as real as he could be the last 3 or 4 years of his life, and people are shitting on him. And it's like,
People are like, "No, not that real."
but we don't. But you don't say what I like, so I don't like it. I'm like, that's not how it works. Everybody's different. What do you mean? Like, I will take Aaron Rodgers being a douchebag every day of the week versus Russell Wilson, who just regurgitates robotic bullshit out that I don't believe anything that dude ever says ever in his life.
Brian
But
Daboll
I do
is
want to
so
ask you
getting
guys something
fired.
because I don't know how I feel about having division games in week 1.
I don't like it at all. I'll tell you what, Adam, what I don't like even more and what's not fair is taking a division, making it a home game for the LA Chargers and putting it in Brazil. That's bullshit. And if I was the Chargers, I would actively give Roger Goodell 2 middle fingers and be like, don't ever do that to us again.
Well,
Especially in week
we're all
week-
headed that way.
It's trash. That's fucking
Yeah.
bullshit. You
That's
can't do that
what
to
it is,
teams.
though.
You can't do that to teams the very first week of the season. And if you're going to do it, what I truly believe, I said this last show, Kyle, you were out. They need to have both of the conferences represented when you do these international games. I think that's a fair shakeout. I don't, there's even the same team or same city that represents 2 conferences like LA and New York. But I think it's a better representation of taking one from here and one from there.
Like Minnesota, when they go to Ireland and the UK, they're playing AFC teams.
I love that. That's fine. But doing a divisional game over there, you're taking away home field advantage to one of these teams already. But a divisional game is so crucial. That's not fair for the teams. I would vehemently try to.
And there's already so much, excitement and intrigue around divisional matchups that it doesn't need this extra stuff. It doesn't need the extra push.
Correct. I'm with you, man. I don't like that. I think it's not fair to the teams. That was a good game, though. Especially for Justin Herbert's #1 hater in this podcast. He looked pretty good. That was a good game, and I don't mind like the exposure to other places in the world. That's fine. I don't mind that. But you're right, Adam. I don't like the division aspect of there because those hold extra weight no matter what you say. Because it doesn't matter how shitty your division is or how bad a team in your division may be. They always have a chance to beat you because they know you so well.
Because as we saw, JJ McCarthy was still shaking off rust and getting himself where he needed to be. And a division game is so much more important in the scope of things because it's parts of tiebreakers and stuff when it comes down to the big parts of making the playoffs. And I don't feel like putting that in week 1 is really smart when it comes to scheduling.
Yeah, I don't think that's fair. That's a good point, Adam. Oh, man, I don't have anything else. And I can feel my old man eyes getting heavy. It's time to go to bed soon. Guys, do you have anything else before we wrap it up?
I will not be here for probably the review of the week 3 game because I will be at that game.
Oh, cool, yeah,
fantastic.
against the Bengals.
Yeah, that's sneaking up pretty quick here. I didn't realize that's like less than 2 weeks away now.
That's pretty sweet. Adam is undefeated at those games, so if they lose,
9-0 at Minnesota Vikings games.
Everyone, please make sure we give Adam all the crap for that.
But
That's
it'll
cool,
be my
though.
nephew's first game, so he might be bad luck. Who knows?
Hey, thank you so much, man. This is all me too. I painted this about 2 weeks ago, and then this weekend hung up these wood slats, got them at Lowe's, stained them. Got this guy at Hobby Lobby. This is weird. Now that we're bringing it up, I'm doing the Chip Gaines shit and telling you what I'm home improving. I got this guitar holder and put it through and had the wood glue in there to hold, but I actually drilled that part of it into the wall itself, and then I have a bunch of things anchored for it to rest on up top. I kind of redneck did it a little bit, but it looks really cool. I'm very happy. I'm going to start shooting more of my videos where I'm singing and playing with this in the background and this
I
little
thought you
light
were going
back
to say it's
here.
real nice. I got it at Target. Got it on sale.
Got a Target on sale. Good reference. Good reference. I don't like a lot of his movies, but that one was really funny. It reminded me from everyone of my hometown. All right, go support Adam at the Viking Age. Adam, tell him about your work over there.
Just this morning, I put out an article on the winners and losers from this game, and I took it a little bit easier on the losers because I felt like for the first game of the season, trying to ease things in, and then the comeback, I felt like I didn't need to be tearing at people too much. So I went mostly winners over there, but we got a lot of great content that came out over on the Viking Age today. The team is fantastic, and they got a lot of ideas and opinions. So if you're a Minnesota Vikings fan, check out the Viking Age and make sure to get your fill of all that Minnesota Vikings, opinions and stats and ideas and all that fun stuff. We love all of it.
Love that. I just clicked on that article. I agree with your picks, Adam. Very good. You can find
And
him.
if you are on social media, I am MN Viking Zombie anywhere, whether it's like TikTok or X or Blue Sky or Twitter or Twitch or whatever you go to, I'm probably there. Even Instagram. If you're on Instagram, MN Viking Zombie, Mike, lots of pictures of Bernie Cat on there if you like that.
Love that.
I also, every once in a while over on Instagram, I'll put up like a picture of the movie I'm watching that night. So if you want to know what I'm watching, check it out.
I always love checking in on Facebook to see that on there. You always say, like, I'm watching this. And then if I see comments, because usually it's about a day late for me, I always get to see if it was good or bad. I appreciate that very much.
I noticed that with like Together, you noticed I posted about that and you were like, oh yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, that was a weird movie. Love it. Kyle West is on Blue Sky at Vaguely Square.
That's me. Give me a follow on social media. We can talk about stuff and things.
Stuff and things. He is an expert on stuff and things. You can quote him on that.
You betcha.
Are we saying stuffing things or stuff and things?
Either or.
Yes? Question mark. I don't know what to do with my hand. I'm not plugging my social media. I want you to like and subscribe to the YouTube channel, the Facebook page, wherever you are consuming this. Like the episode and subscribe on that platform. Please, please, please. You can help us do great numbers. And when
Did you just Sabrina Carpenter us?
What is that?
Please, please, please. It's a hit song.
I have no idea about that person. I know that it's a popular pop singer, but I couldn't tell you anything else.
Oh boy.
Wow. See? I'm cultured. No, I don't know. I don't know anything about that person.
I bet you Mr. West doesn't even really know who Sabrina Carpenter is.
I don't give a shit, so no. I'm that kind of music fan that if you were like, name a Taylor Swift song, I would be like, I have no idea, because I don't listen to that.
Yeah, that cult. I stay away from that cult activity.
Name a Taylor Swift song.
Shit. Wildest Dreams. I like that one.
Shake It Off, Bad Blood.
I'm trying to think of the one that I did, Antihero. That's the one I played at my shows, and I'll tell you this much. I heard a guy, shout out to this dude. If you like Americana, folky kind of music, his name is Josiah and the Bonvilles. He's got a very unique voice, has a little bit of a yodel and a rasp. I really like his stuff. He did a country covers album of everything, like Taylor Swift to Creed to Justin Bieber, like the singer-songwriter version of those songs, and that's what got me into that song. I was like, oh, that's a fun song. Who's that by? It was a Taylor Swift song. So I started playing his version of a Taylor Swift song at my shows. The amount of people who came up to me after I got done with that and said, you like Taylor Swift? And I'm like, kind of. I like that song sang this way by a different guy. Does that count? I don't know. I do like one of her songs. I really do like Wildest Dreams. So if you've ever heard that, that's very fun.
So you mean to tell me that you guys didn't watch the VMAs?
Oh, God.
They were on opposite the Vikings game, so I know you probably TiVo'd it, if TiVo is still a thing.
No, I was too busy raging in your chat to watch anything else. I probably should have watched that instead.
By the way, our Discord was open during that game, and I was chatting with somebody. I don't even know who it was, but...
Oh, that's cool. And shout out to Fire Breather. He won't see this for a while. He is in boot camp for the Navy. We talked about it last week. He said, I'll see you guys in November. Hopefully they have a good season. I'll be missing it. So he definitely missed a really good one to start the season. So, yeah. Can we leave Swift off this show? I live in Chiefs and I see way too much. You know what? I have to defend her. While I'm not in the cult that is her fandom, she never asked to be like, will you please put the camera on me? I will give her that benefit of it all. She's globally famous, but I do. It is a little annoying that the NFL just like has to push it every time. It's like, yeah, we get it. She's at the game. She's dating this guy. That's fine. But I don't mind. She handled it. I watched the interview, the podcast she was on with New Heights. She was very nice, very cool, very down to earth. I'm
And
not
she's really excited about Rashee Rice.
Xavier Worthy when they drafted him.
Oh yeah, that's who it was.
She was
Xavier
like,
Worthy.
"Oh my gosh!" And I was like, "Is she actually talking about football? Like, she sounds like she might have actually learned something. That's cool." I just don't. I don't do the fandom that is there. You can't convince me that's not a fucking cult. It's very weird. No different than all the crazy Southern Baptist people that I grew up around. Really weird. Anyways, now that I got that in, Adam, take it away.
Once again, thank you to everyone for joining us in chat. We love having you guys here, and we love when you're in the conversation. Today's conversation was amazing. Thank you again, everyone. And this show, you can get it wherever you listen to podcasts. You can find the full catalog on YouTube. If you want to go back and listen to shows from 2012 or whatever, they are there. Don't know why you'd want to listen to them, but they're there. But we'll be back next week, and we'll talk about that game against the Falcons. I know we didn't preview it too much, but again, we don't need to beat that horse too much. But we'll break that down next week, and in the meantime, stay classy, Minnesota.